We are back for another edition of Woodbine Racing Live for a Monday night. And we have 10 races coming your way, and we do have a Pick 6 carryover to talk about on today's broadcast. As well as Chad spoke of, the weather is the real story for today. It is cold, and I love the winter time because there's all these weather terms that we use. Like coming up on Wednesday, we're having an Alberta Clipper. Looking forward to that. We're going to get about 5 or 10 centimeters of snow. And then we have lake effect snow everywhere, it seems like, in Ontario. We were pretty good here at Woodbine Mohawk Park till about an hour ago when it started to snow. I know our friends at Western Fair have had to cancel. Dover Downs, they've canceled. So some harness programs have been eliminated for tonight. But the good news is we are a go here this evening. Now, unfortunately, Trevor Henry is not going to be in action here tonight. He is having some weather problems as well, as are some of the connection shipping horses in today. But the good news is the Hall of Famer got into the truck started, and he's ready to rock and roll as he gets set to wrap up his week. This is the one and only, this being Randy Waples, who is with us here today on this edition of Woodbine Racing Live.
I have never showed up for a job with bad weather so much in my life. Do I get like a gold star for this or something?
You do.
I'll tell you, when I seen precipitation in the air and I was driving horses, I was staying home.
You know, it's been a challenging time of year. Winter training is challenging, we know that, but just talk with some of the conditioners. Like, you don't know what you're going to get one day to the next. Trying to get 2 or 3 races into a horse's form is very, very difficult. So I think the one thing that I'm kind of using when I'm doing my handicapping, maybe this is the new 2026, Jeff, being a little bit more forgiving about things. And just saying, you know what, maybe this horse had a legit excuse last time out because who knows how much training they've had, how tight they are coming into races. So, Randy, that's one of the storylines when it comes to winter handicapping, I would say.
Big time. I mean, you so often in the summertime when everything's going the way that you want it to go or whatever, a horse kind of races flat, you can basically kind of pinpoint it because, maybe their air got shut off a little bit or something had happened or whatever. You can more. But now, because, they're not getting the regular kind of fitness that they're used to, sometimes a horse will come up really flat and you don't know if it's a health reason or simply because they just haven't been able to get any track work done with this horse and they're used to it, last night we were talking about the one horse Midnight Mood, and he'd come in here and raced, hadn't been winning races, then he races on a 2-day rotation, raced like January 4th and comes back January the 6th, and then his next start he's a winner. And then now he comes back yesterday on the 7-day rotation. He raced good, but not quite the same. And it makes you wonder, was it just because he was so fit going into that one race, So it's tough time of the year for these guys.
It really, really is. And last night I was watching the program, and we did have the Preferred taking place here. And Sid the Kid is definitely good. So obviously we're going to keep a keen eye on what he's going to do for the remainder of the season. We do have another late scratch to pass along coming up in race number 7. A horse that Randy actually liked tonight, that being Florida Guy, is now out of the 7th. So do make that notation in your program. We're going to have more and more scratches, I think, as the later races scratches do roll in. But Florida Guy is now out, and that was a replay horse as well. But that replay is now not going to see the light of day for today. But don't worry, Randy. Florida Guy races
I'm
back.
going home.
you can show that replay. But Sid the Kid able to win it. Now, I felt bad for you because you liked Mr. Bluebird last night. And the problem with the Preferreds as of late, I have found, is there's just little movement in those races.
There's no movement.
And it's a sprint at the top of the stretch. And you just got out sprinted. I think you raced just as good as the winner did. But unfortunately, when there's just no movement, here's the first movement in the race. And
it's over.
Yeah, it's over. And Sid the Kid's able to hold on. Sid the Kid got to the wire in time, though, because you were coming.
Yeah. And I mean, Sid the Kid's racing really, really well right now. But I'm kind of like with you, too. You see $40,000 up on the top. You'd think you'd see more kind of action going on there, but he did his best. He went hard at him, and I mean, a step before the wire, I kind of thought I was going to get him on the bob. Didn't hold up. Dougie was able to, it's so many times Dougie has bailed me out in my job, using that McNair talent, and now he just put the old screw job to his old buddy Randy, his old grandfather.
And you know what? Like, everything was going Team Cullen's way yesterday and Travis's way yesterday, with the exception of that horse. But look at these payouts. We had the early pick 5 paid $21,000, early pick 4 paid $10. We got that pick 6 carryover that we're going to focus in on as well. And the jackpot high 5, we're now starting to get to some serious cash in here. $62,459.73. But I want to ask you about this vertical squirt, because here I am watching the races. I'm flipping between the football and the races. And vertical squirt was like shot out of a cannon all of a sudden. What a move that horse put in.
Unbelievable, eh? And I mean, and you could tell like the way James raced him, he was giving him a start. He'd missed time, qualified back, James. But, you know, when a driver or a trainer or a barn is rolling, I'll tell you, there's nothing that a train couldn't stop you. But I'll tell you, when you're not rolling, the Greek Junior there used to always say to me when things were going bad for either him or for me, he'd say, I can make a train take a dirt road right now. Yeah. Like just nothing goes your way. But then things go, and in that situation, they raced like crazy. Yep. Who comes flying on the end of it? But J-Mac, you know, with this horse. So, but he raced really well.
When I'm going bad handicapping-wise, which is too often for me, I always say I could stop Secretariat.
That's a bad one.
That's always my saying when it comes
or
to that.
Mine was usually if I was racing really bad or whatever, I could get Annihilator beat in the maiden. That would be it, yeah.
I had one guy at Woodbine once call me the anchor. He goes, because you sink ships.
There you go.
Let's take a look at our leaderboard. We always like to recap who has had a great time of it as of late. I imagine Team Cullen's well represented. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that.
I am telling you that this Team Cullen, they are absolutely finding a roost up on the top of the leaderboards right now, whether it be Travis or whether it be Jody. They seem to be roosting right in the number one spot. And look at that, Jeff, $143,000 put away. Like that is a huge number for a guy that goes with a lot of his own stock.
I did see that Captain Treacherous got claimed that they brought from Alberta.
Yes. Yeah. Titanic. Seal Street.
Something like that. Yeah. Justin
and here we go.
He had a great week last week. Kyle Fellows had a nice winner at a good price yesterday as well. And anytime Dave Maneri's fourth on the board, these top three are doing some pretty good things.
I would say, yeah, for sure. I mean, Justin Turcotte making a nice appearance on here, wearing the tuxedo. Way to go, Justin.
I can't do the bow tie.
Really?
I cannot do the bow tie.
No way.
No.
Why?
No.
But you don't like ties. Oh, no, you wear a tie all the time. It's Chad. Chad don't like ties.
Yeah, I can't. I tried the bow tie once. Didn't look
really
good. Okay, quick story before we get to our handicapping. Guess what I did yesterday? I haven't done this in years. I went bowling.
Oh no!
Terrible. I didn't get 100. I didn't break 100, and my thumb is killing me. Only I can injure myself going bowling.
There
but anyways,
you go.
But that's the way it goes. Okay, let's do some handicapping. Now, what Randy and I are going to do tonight, we're going to do a consensus pick 5 tickets. What we'll do is we'll talk about each leg of the early pick 5, and we'll tell you the horse we're going to use, and our graphics operator Jeremy's going to type it up, and so that will be our ticket. It's going to be our consensus ticket for today. So I really like Satuwanya in here. That horse has been scratched. We now lose Divine Love. Team Bax is well represented in this spot. And you've got Maggie's Touch and Acrobatic coming off qualifiers in here. And Maggie's Touch and Acrobatic qualified on exactly the same day. And Acrobatic did go a little bit slower in here. But you want to take a look at the qualifier. I like the qualifier of Acrobatic because I thought the horse did it very easily. But I want to get your thoughts on this Maggie's Touch qualifier.
Well, I mean, we're going to show it. You know, I thought it was a good one, good enough that I elected to put her up on top. Last race, September the 11th, and qualifies back January the 12th. And I thought that Scotty did a really good young, and he comes back to this one too. And this isn't the first time that we've seen Jennifer Pinkerton bring a horse into Woodbine there and become a big.
And likes using Scotty.
Yes, and I think the other one's My Buddy Sam.
Yep, I think
that's the one. You know, and I mean she does a really good job with her horses. So let's take a look at the answer with Maggie's Touch in here. Now, Satuwanya as his role. Satuwanya I was using as well, and like Jeff said, scratch there. Acrobatic I do have in as the mix, and I mean really, you know, a nice qualifier there, nice win there for Matty Bax, Todd Ratchford picking up a nice ride here. Let's take a quick look and see what Scotty's doing on the inside with this one. Looking a little good, and what really attracted to me is look at the look of her, Jeff. She's a really nice looking filly, and 5 years old. She's in against a lot of 3-year-olds. That to me has always been a big advantage if you can race a horse that's 4 or 5 in against a 3-year-old. But Satuvanya's out there. Now, a lot of people are going to be looking at Acrobatic. I can tell you this, Jeff. D.A. Merlot was my top pick on December the 22nd, and I liked the way that she raced. It didn't work for her, but I loved the way that she raced, and she went off at 71-1. She was my number 1 pick, had her right up on top, loved her, was more than willing to come right back to her, but then she was vet scratch sick. Now, I did have her in for third, had Satuwanya in there I'm wondering, though, if we're going to do a consensus pick 5, should we be thinking about that one too?
3 and 4 for sure. We're
3
using
and 4,
for
okay,
sure.
yeah. I'm cool with just 3 and 4. I'm good with that, but I'm just telling you, this DA Merlot, I did have her on top.
I know, and
she raced really good.
You know what scares me about her too is, like, what if she's a better 3-year-old than she was as a 2-year-old too?
Who?
Your horse, DA Merlot.
Yeah.
Let's for right now use 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
2, 3, 4 in that race.
Go that route.
As for our graphics operator, Jeremy. So 2, 3, and 4 coming up in race number 1. We'll recap our ticket for you coming up
and
a
we
little
can
bit
go
later
a little
on.
skinnier too if we need to.
Oh, so we're producer. We're not going through all the early pick 5 races because we got to put together our ticket. We're going to race 4. Is that? We're going to go race 2. Okay, we are going to race 2. Just checking with our producer there to make sure. We'll make it quick here in race number 2. I guess my question is a simple one in here. Do we just use the simple 3 and 4 in here? I like DA Temptation myself the most. You like Stay Pumped? I've got Stay Pumped second.
I got DA Temptation in for second.
So do we leave out the 3?
Yeah.
Just use 4 or 5?
That's the way I go.
All right, there we go. We're going to use 4 and 5 coming up in race number 2 on the program. So 4 and 5. So 2, 3, 4 in the first leg, and we're going to use 4 and 5 in this one. See, producer, we're going to fly through these early ones, and then we'll spend more time on the ones that Jason has in the script. I feel bad for poor Jason. We're kind of throwing him a bit of a curveball.
Yeah, he can handle it.
He can.
He can handle it. That's
so we'll
right.
quickly look at race number 3 and touch on this one. The qualifying report that Rosie had last time we did a qualifying report had Volcanic on top, but I would be terrified to leave off Boot Hill Hootie. What about you?
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I think you got to stay to the inside. We getting aluminum shoes put on Ace 44 Apollo, but I don't know if I really look at him as a win candidate. He did win the 20 claimer at Flamborough, but here it seems like he's more just getting into the 4th kind of mode.
Right.
So I agree with you. I think we go 1-2.
1-2? Okay. 1-2 in that race. Those will be the horse that we're going to use here in that spot. I think Boot Hill 2 lost a horse that was going to be on tonight's program that, you know, we were not sure what to do with the drop, that being Chef, and was just 3rd best. Didn't have the best of draws on that day, so we're going to use the 1 and 2. Hopefully we can find a key somewhere along the way in here because it's starting to get a little bit pricey in here. But let's talk about this 4th race a little bit. We're not going to be able to key a horse in here, though, because we see this race a little bit differently. I hope we agree coming up in one of the races, or we might have to skinny our ticket down a little bit in here. But in this 4th race, this is a conditioned trot going for a purse of $18,000. Stormont Full of Life right now is the favorite at odds of 3-1. Now, I sent in a replay in here because I want to ask you what's going on with this Green Grass Grows. Because I think Travis Henry and Green Grass Grows, they're having a fight in this race. And I want to get your opinion on what is going on in here because I don't know if Travis was just trying to get around the turn with this horse, if maybe that was the problem. Because once Green Grass Grows straightens up, actually finishes up relatively well in here, and I see they're making an equipment change here tonight as well. So let's take a look at this replay for you right now, and we're going to watch this horse, and I'm going to get Randy to put on his bifocals to really have an in-depth look at this. So watch the 4 in here, Randy, because I just think in this spot particularly that Travis and this horse, they're just not on the same page, and it's going to come up here in a couple of seconds. And we're losing ground on the turn too. Like it's just
he's running in.
Yeah,
yeah, he's on the right line real bad.
Like look, he's really wrestling with this
and
horse
they're going
right
to
now.
Adam Murphy on the inside.
Yeah.
So this makes more sense. He's got a dummy pole on the inside now, like not a straight head pole. It's just a half pole that attaches to the line. It's not really doing him a whole lot of good, and he's just locked on the right line, and that's what it's going on. Yeah, he's fighting with him all right. He's trying to get him to come off that line, and it just isn't working.
But watch him finish up now.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Well, now he's on a straightaway,
yeah, exactly.
So it'll be a little bit better. You know what I mean? On the turns, the gravity seems to pull them down to the inside, and he's making some good grounds. Big kind of a horse. Boom, back on the right line again. They're going to have to get that fixed. But other than that, it was a pretty good. It was a good effort.
Yeah. So I like that horse, and I really wanted to pick your brain about that because when I was watching the replay, I was trying to figure out what was going on.
I don't have too much to pick.
So you and I were talking off camera. Stormont Full of Life, and I'm in agreement with you. We're going to try and beat this horse tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
So your top pick is going to be Checkmaster, right?
Right.
So do we just use 4 and 6, do you think?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to use 4 and 6 in our pick 5 in there. So we're 2 times 2, 8, 16, 24. So we're not too bad. We can maybe use 2 coming up in the 5th, and that'll be $48. So that's not too expensive of tickets. unless we find a key along the way in here. But in the 5th, it's a smaller field now. This race has been decimated a little bit now in race 5. We're down to a field of 6 in here. You and I are both going to try and beat Fateful, who is the morning line favorite in this spot. I've gone towards Pierre Ho Emerald, who I thought made up a lot of ground. What about French Money Hanover? They kind of changed things up last time out, Randy. They got away in the pocket. Now, I didn't like the fact that she didn't hold on to finish in the 2nd place position, but at least she showed us something for the first time in about 3 or 4 starts.
She did, yeah, and she's got good speed. I got her up on top. She is my top pick, and that was before all the scratches and everything. She was always going to be my top pick in here. I think that she's going to come up with a good effort. But I'm thinking to myself, if we've come this far, and I know that it's an expensive ticket, but we're down to a field of 6 in here. Do we really? Why wouldn't we just all it and pray for this one to be the price?
And it's going to be a little expensive.
It's going to be expensive.
I'm fine with it.
But
if you
why
want
do
to
we play it for 20 cents?
Perfect.
Why don't we
do
do that?
We'll play it for 20 cents. We'll play a 20-cent pick 5.
Yeah, because
usually you play it for $1.
it's a tough pick 5
We'll play
anyway.
for
Even
20
if we can
cents.
get this, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is good TV as I get my calculator up.
There
to
you
do-
go,
to do the
exactly.
cost of our
Yeah,
ticket
yeah,
in here.
yeah.
So we're going to use all in that race. So
Yeah,
this is
we're down
so
to
we're
a
going to play
field
for
of
20
6.
cents. So our ticket is 234. We'll recap it for you here in a couple of seconds. Jeremy, our graphics operator, I'm so sorry. He's probably just like absolutely pulling out his hair right now. I'm just going to do the math. Times 2 times 6. 28.80, I think it is, Jeremy. Is that Jeremy's like
$20 for a
28.80? I think for 20 cents.
That's not bad.
I'm just going to double check it to make sure.
Yeah.
So 8 times 3 times 6. Yep. 28.80.
Okay, so here's my problem in the race 5, where I think that it's better that we key this race. Okay.
Oh, you mean a goal?
What?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Yeah, all this race. Okay, so a lot of people are going to be looking at Pierrot Emerald, so am I. A lot of people are
Yep.
going to be looking at French Money and Faithful, so am I. A lot of people, Garnett's got J-Port Muscle up on top. Now, I was going against him. I didn't even have him in my top 4 originally, you know what I mean? But he is playable. He did race okay last week, but coming up a class,
Yep.
3rd start Lasix, has the rail to deal with, you know what I mean? I didn't necessarily look at him as a win candidate, but you tell me, Mr. Jeff Bratt, what about this 7 horse that's going these nice miles over London?
Yeah.
Now, if he comes in here and shows the ability to make up the ground that he's been, I mean, his last start was a trailing position, and he still makes up all this ground. So if this horse comes into a real short field and can make up a ton of ground, this could be the horse that might separate us.
Yeah. And listen, I would hate to go like use 3 of the 6.
Right.
And then one
Yeah,
jumps up and bites us.
Rawls did that the one night there. He used 4 out of the 5, and
it's the
the
worst.
horse that was the 5th horse was the one that beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. There's our ticket. It's
Not
like a
bad.
snow globe in behind, but 28.80. Again, for Randy and I, like we tend to use a little bit more of a lower denomination, but with our consensus ticketing, the problem is we couldn't find a key in the sequence.
No,
that's what killed
the whole
us.
thing too. And
Yeah.
with all the scratches going on
And the
too,
weather.
everything changes.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole thing. Before, you had a field of 10. And you're thinking, this horse will be no good because he's going to get away in a
Yeah.
bad spot. But
Yeah.
now all of a sudden he's going to get away 5th or 6th. Well, the whole complexion changes.
There you go. That's our ticket. Our
Yeah.
first consensus ticket.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have some success along the way. Good job to our graphics operator there, Mr. Jeremy, for helping us through that. Okay, in the 6th race, when I was doing my handicapping, I wanted to ask you about Chef. Is it wrong my thinking? Because last time this horse raced, you and I were talking, I said, I think it's a bit of a suspect drop. But the horse won. Am I fooling myself by being a little bit more confident with the horse now because the horse won, or do you still think this horse is a bad bet tonight?
No, I think he's going to get stronger.
Okay.
The longer he stays in this class, you know what I mean, and his confidence will go up. He's not going to have to extend himself fully, so each time he comes out of the race, he's going to come out of there not completely drained,
Yeah.
So I think that he is the logical horse to beat in this race. Garnett's got him up on top. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I see that. Now, I'm going to play against him, and the reason why I'm playing against him, and this isn't really fair to you, Jeff, because, you didn't see, you haven't quite seen the best of National Tier, but this National Tier horse, he is fast, and I mean crazy fast. Like, I think sometimes that's why he makes the break. He just overpaces himself.
Right.
But Anthony, who's always had him along, I think at one time Laverne Turnbull owned him, but Anthony Hahn and Meg have had this guy for a while, and Hahn gets along extremely good with this horse. I have seen him. I think it was a cheaper stake series, a closure that we had going. Maybe it was a pop-up. Maybe it was an Ontario Boys, something, whatever. He sat last with this horse and just went around the whole field. Like, he is that fast. So I do see where you're going with Chef. I got him in for second, but I'm going to play National Tier, and I'm actually going to make him my best bet tonight.
Let's take a look at a replay from back on December the 27th in regards to National Tier, because last time out was in a really tough spot and didn't really show all that much. Now, this was some challenging conditions, much like tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he went on a chop this night. And you're going to see a couple of times, even in the qualifier, he went on the chop, easy fractions, but he won't last that way. But boy, give this guy a target and look out. And like I said, Tony Hahn really gets along very, very well with him. He sits behind him all the time. He knows all the quirks and everything. And at this point, he's still on top in this non-winners of two, and again, in my opinion, this is not his style of racing. I find he likes to chase a lot better. Up front, it just seems like he's always looking for horses on the end of it. But because, he raced him that way, next start he had the 9-hole, just took him back, didn't do a whole lot with him, but still had some good wheels on the end of it. Now he's going to pull the trigger and drop him into a 20 claimer. The first time I've ever seen this horse in a claiming situation. I think that he's going in there looking for a win.
Fishing in the Shadows has kind of got the same idea, taking that drop down in class for a very good driver-trainer combination of McKibben and Thiessen as well. So 2-6, 6-2s. That's pretty much the consensus when it comes up to race number 6 on the program. Let's get to the 7th now of the day. We do have the scratch of Florida guy. That sucks.
Kills me.
And you know what? You liked the horse a little bit until last week.
Yeah.
You got the pick 6 regardless, but you did have this horse on your ticket, and it kind of looked like he was making a move and then kind of flattened out a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's just a horse that needed that start. That's why I was more than willing to come back to him. But, I don't think I'd want to be trucking in from Grand Valley. Stay home, cat.
So sometimes, Randy, what I like to do is I just push the program to the side, and I just like to handicap with these guys. And Daffy Hanover, to me, looked really good. Now, I realize we're facing tougher tonight. I realize this is a big move up in class, but just the visuals with how powerful this horse was when winning last time out, and she's going to have to be even better. And who's to say that she can't get better? Because don't forget, she's just a 4-year-old. They paid just $15,000 for this horse, and that's by that sire that you were just talking about last week, bar hopping.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a poor man's Grand Circuit entry right here. This guy, not everybody can afford Walners and Muscle Hills and that, but you can afford bar hoppings. Look at Brownie. Brownie paid $15K for this one. My brother paid $5,000, I think it was, for Wild Turkey Hanover, another bar hopping. There's lots of them, and they can get you to where you want to go. Daffy Hanover, Florida guy, was going to be my top pick in here, and the biggest reason why is Florida guy has raced a couple of times in non-winners of 3. Nothing surprises me with that. Now, Daffy did race non-winners of 3, 2 starts down. She had a good 5th in there, only beaten 2 lengths, drops down into the non-winners of 2 in her last, and annihilated the field. Now she comes back up into this non-winners of 3, but her confidence is so good right now. And the one that I thought that could maybe beat her, he's going to be scratched. Yeah. Either way, Travis probably going to get a real sweet trip out of this. And Brownie's got her cracking right now. She is just so good, with that leaving ability, then sit, and then, have a big move on the end of it. A lot of these horses can't do that.
I am a little bit scared of Jay Porcash because I think he needed that last start. And this, again, the Josh McKibben outfit as well. So I'm scared of that horse.
I completely agree with you there. The only thing that maybe nullifies him a little bit is that rail position. Yeah. Because he does usually have a tendency to get away in a bad spot, like a little bit further back. If we get a couple of levers in here, that might kind of put him in a bad spot.
Let's get to race number 8 now on the program. This 8th race will feature fillies and mares, 20,000 claimers, non-winners of 2. And it's so funny how the game works, I find, with whether it's lower classifications or lower end claimers, they just aren't as consistent from week to week. And I thought Side Effects had a more difficult trip last time out. So even with the barn change, I'm going to go back in that one's direction. Catch Me Gracefully, though, I thought looked fantastic last week when pulling off the victory. Acquired Taste, all of a sudden, that missing chart line looks pretty good. And then you have Ariel's Best. And you know what? At 75-1 last week, this horse almost won, almost pulled off a massive upset. And you've got Wise Flower number 10, too. A tricky, tricky race to start off the late pick 3, and I'm very intrigued to find out what you're going to do in race number 8.
Well, in my multis, I went 1 and 6.
Okay.
That's who I used, and I agree with you. I mean, you can go so many ways in this one. The first time Carmen angle with Gucci Sealster, who's already been racing good for Cullen. Maybe I'm not going to say she's moving up in class. She was in an optional 12.5 in her last. I'm going to say that it's more or less a bit of a lateral move in here, racing against the job hunters and that. So I don't think that it's much of a movement that way. Side effects, same thing. She's been racing in the 20, goes from Maneri's camp into Kyle Fellows' camp, loses James and Jody, picks up Louis. Again, bit of a lateral move to me, that way. I'm looking at it as basically who impressed me the most last week. And I agree with you with the Ariel's Bet too, because right now I have a tough time steering away from Cullen horses.
I know.
They are racing so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go Catch Me Gracefully. I'm not going to use Ariel's Bet, but the one that I got in for second that I think could be interesting in here is YS Flower number 10, dropping from the non-winners of 2. She does show the 20 claimers down on the bottom, and she was racing good, and maybe she got racing a little bit too good because then they popped her back into the non-winners of 2. She's been racing okay in there. Her last start, made front, raced okay, but she's going to pick up J-Mac tonight, and that is always a scary angle.
It is, and the last race was good. The strike, and it's a big strike against this horse, a 5-year-old that's just a one-time winner, so that's a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but I'm in agreement. I mean, I just think we're in an easier spot here today, so I think Randy's onto a horse that potentially could really wake up in here with that inside draw. I am really glad this is not part of the early pick 5 because we would have had to a couple of races.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's a tough card all night.
Yeah, it is.
It is. If you get paid tonight, you're doing a good job.
Now, I think in the 9th, I think there's a single in here. Yeah, Wicked Express. Yeah. I just think it's too good right now.
Too good.
Yep.
Way too good. We've gone. Sometimes people will throw Smiles for Miles or other horses. I see Garnet went to Wicked Express this week too. He's just when he's on a 7-day rotation, they can't touch him. It does not matter, and he's on a 7-day rotation. So I agree. This is a single.
And I kind of like what Kyle's doing. A lot of people would have the temptation. Oh, we don't want to lose the horse. Let's bump the horse up in class. Just keep putting the horse where they're going to make money.
That's right.
That's what they're doing here with Wicked Express. Right? You want the horse for $25,000 plus HST? All yours. But we're going to get another win this week.
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I don't know if it happens, but if I'm Kyle Fellows and Rob, his dad Rob offers to take me into the garage, set up the blackboard, and explain to me how to manage horses, I'm all there because Rob, he's learning his lessons well. This guy, because Rob Fellows, he's one of the sharpest guys that we've had on this circuit.
So we're going to make it pretty simple there coming up in race number 9. Now, we have a replay that we're going to pass along.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Why
Every
not?
once in a while, even though it's easy to see on the card what he did, it's the way they do it.
100%.
So I like to send them in when I think that they're the best, because that's exactly what I got beside his name, the best. I just think that when he's on these 7-day rotations, he's the best horse in this class, and he's going to show that again in here tonight. Like I said, he's going to, if he's not on that rotation, he just doesn't. He seems like he comes up with a second or third. He's vulnerable, but when he's racing every 7 days, I mean, he's a completely different animal. Look at this point. Dougie didn't even ask him till then, and he was already moving away. He asks him, and he moves away again. Now look at Dougie. He's completely got this horse shut down and put away and letting them gather back up on his back. He is just so much the best.
Yep, just too good. Too good right now. And the consensus player there in the late pick 5, I think will be keyed on about 87% of the tickets.
I would think so, yes, because you're going to have to find one.
Yeah, because this 10th race, Randy, I spent more time on this race than I did in any of my high school assignments. I pulled my hair out, and you know where I went back to? I went back to Royal Beluga, but I just don't know on a night like tonight if he's going to be able to close with the weather that we have tonight. He's going to need a lot of help up front.
That's the big thing with the Belugster, you know what I mean? And I think that there is gate speed. I'm not 100% sure why Mark's taken such a real quiet approach with this horse, and he's staying with driving him himself too, and that's not like Mark either, you know what I mean? So there's something still I think he's still kind of tinkering with this horse or looking at him as a bit of a project. I thought last week it was a good effort, but just a bad positioning, and that's the problem with him tonight. Now he does get the center of the gate, which, you know, sometimes just the center of the gate will pull them out of there and get them into a better spot, but I don't even know if he wants the better spot. Now I have him in for third. I still like the horse in here tonight. Just a little bit of a mystery for me right now.
But we have the same thinking because we're going price shopping. You're going price shopping with a Western Fair invader by the name of Made of Magic. Now, Dean Wall, he's a guy that can win races on this circuit. We've seen it time and time again. He maybe doesn't start as many horses now on this circuit as he used to, but I'm very confident in playing his horses when he comes to Woodbine.
100%. When this horse comes to Woodbine, he usually makes a good account of himself. And one of the biggest tools, weapons that he has, Made of Magic, great gate speed. He can just launch out of there and find a good spot. Now, again, I wanted to show you this one. You can easily see that he won by 6, you know, in this bottom class over at London. But he had 2 trailers in before this race, you know, where he couldn't get to the front. You know, he kind of had to race in amongst them. Then all of a sudden now he's got his nose on the gate. He can do what he wants. Let's take a look at Made of Magic in front, because honestly, I'm kind of hoping that he might race him that way tonight. Now, if somebody live wants to come out of there and cover him up, then I don't blame Tyler, you know, for grabbing a hold of leather. But I really do think that this is a real nice class for this horse to come back here again. And I agree with you too. I think Dean Wall, another one that learned his lessons well. And whenever he comes into town, I always take a second look at his horses.
For sure. You know, it's the last name. I just respect the last name so much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Chairman of the board. But look at this guy. Like, I mean, you know, Garrett, you know, he asks him a couple times, but there's a little bit of laziness with this guy too that comes along, you know. And I mean, it's just a good last quarter and 30-4 over London. You know, they're not doing a whole much more over this big track of ours right now, you know, the way things are. So I think he's in a good spot. You know, there's not a whole lot of gate speed on the inside of him. You know, there are a couple that can maybe get out of there, push a little bit, but nothing with the wheels that this guy has coming. The only thing that I would hope if I was Tyler is either Budinsky or Dougie McNair comes out of there with Southwind Mac and maybe covers me up. Other than that, I say send this guy down the road.
I think I picked Southwind Mac if the draw's better. Third start Lasix.
I got him in for second.
Yeah, I got the horse in for third.
Completely agreed.
Yeah, I couldn't. And the favorite here is Trigarin, who I respect, but I think is very beatable in this field. I'm going to say this, Randy. I think the Jackpot High Five could be in jeopardy tonight, just with this how tough that last race is.
I completely agree. Yeah, and I with you with Trigarin, 2-1 morning line. He's coming back over here after racing some tough races over at Flamborough, but he's yet to win. And that bothers me. You know what I mean? Like this is a pretty nice horse, and he should be winning races. So I don't know really what's going on with him now. They bring him back. He fits a really cheap class, but he was here on November the 14th in this cheap class. Didn't do any damage. Then dropped down even further from this class. His next start ends up with a bit of a fourth after a chop, and that's when they decided to go to Flamborough. Now they come back. So a little bit of a mystery for me, but I completely agree with what you said. I say Trigarin is beatable. Yeah,
very beatable, I would say, as the favorite in that race. Let's recap our tickets here. We've got a bunch of them, and I realized when we did our pick 5, we kind of did it quickly. It's a brand new thing, so we're going to look at it one more time and see what Randy and I have put together. We're going to go 3 deep in the opener. D.A. Merlot, we'd love to see win at a big number. We're 21-1 right now. That'd be
she
fantastic.
She can win. I'm telling you, she can win.
So we got 2, 3, and 4. In the second, we've got D.A. Temptation, and we've got Stay Pumped. We're going to leave off the Terry Gallant horse. Might be a mistake on our part, but we're going to try and beat that one. We're taking some stances in some of these races tonight. And the third, I feel pretty comfortable in the third, Randy.
Yeah.
With Hootie and Volcanic.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we're good in that one.
Yep.
Fourth, we've got, we might not have enough of this. This is a tough one because we've got an 8-1 shot and a 9-2 shot. We got Checkmaster and Greengrass Grows, and then we wrap it up with the All Button in the last race. Boy, I would love to be alive winning the race 4, because then if we get one of our prize place home in the 4th.
If we go into the last race and we are good to go and we have that field all, I say we put our feet up on the desk and smoke a cigar, because we're getting paid, my friend.
That's right.
Job well done.
Do you know anybody that smokes cigars anymore? I don't.
Rawless.
Does he really?
Yeah, he
With
smokes
the skinny
cigars.
ones or the
I think he'll smoke whatever somebody gives it to him. You know, my dad, I don't know if my dad still smokes cigars, but he used to smoke
I haven't
a lot
smoked one in a long,
of
long
cigars.
time.
You remember when you were a kid that you go to the joke shop and you get those little
Yep.
things that look like toothpicks, but they'd blow the end of
Yeah.
a cigar off?
Yeah.
I put one in my dad's cigar the
Oh,
one time.
how'd that go for you?
Well, he was driving down the QEW there and it went off there, and I think he took his mirror out.
Here's Randy's tickets. A lot more cost effective, I would say, when it comes to the pick six.
Yes.
But I think it's one of those you could spend
Yes.
$1,200 or $12 bucks.
Exactly. So I went as skinny as I possibly
Yeah.
could in this race. I mean, you can add to it, or you can take a few off. So Checkmaster, I'm keying him in that fourth race. I like him in here tonight. Race number 5, I'm going to use the 1, the 3, and the 5 in there. Again, you know, going fairly deep on a race with only 6 in it. In race number 6, I go this key on National Tier. In race number 7, 2, and 5, but that 2 horses now scratched. So I'm down to keying Daffy Hanover in
okay.
race number
So it's a $6
5.
ticket now.
Yeah. In race number 8, I'm going to go 1-6. I'm going to go YS Flower number 10 and Catch Me Gracefully. And then in race number 9, I'm singled on to Wicked Express. So like you said, it's now gone from a $12 ticket to a lot less.
I can afford that one. That's
There you
$6.
go.
That's good. What else do we have? We got Randy's late pick 5 and an $8 ticket in here.
Yeah, well, went kind of small on this one too. So again, National Tier, a single. Race number 7. Oh, there's that 2 horse.
So it's a
gonna come
$4
out
ticket now.
So it's going to be a single on Daffy, and then in race number 8, it's going to be the 1 and the 6. Race number 9, singled on the Wicked Express, and in race number 10. You know, I was really going to single the 7 horse, but I'm going to use Southwind Mac in there as well. You know, and just maybe I might be able to hook them at a bit of a price.
Yeah.
Maybe the 10 hole will, you know, bump up its number a little.
It will help for sure. I've got a late pick 5, I think, that I sent in. Let's take a look at mine.
Oh, single city and an all.
Well, I had to use the all. Yeah, did one of my horses scratch now? No, I think I'm good. So I got the 2 Chef keyed, and then I'm
Right.
good on Daffy.
Yeah.
And then I got 2, 6, and 8 in race 8. Ariel's Best.
Both the Cullen
Catch Me
horses.
Gracefully and Side Effects. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm in on Wicked Express.
Right.
And the 10th race is too tough for
Look
me,
at
my friend.
you. Look at you.
Too hard.
I like it.
Too hard.
I like it.
So that's going to be that
It's a $30 ticket.
Yep. So not
Beautiful.
bad.
And that's with an all of 10 horses in the
Yep.
last. There's a pretty good chance we might lose a couple in the last too.
Yeah, might get some
As the night
transportation
goes
scratches.
on. Just none of the ones we like.
Place of the night. Let's take a look at what Randy's got. He's got one horse being scratched, that being Florida Guy. But your beat the fav is Checkmaster, and you're quite enthusiastic with Checkmaster tonight.
Yeah, I do. I think that he's gonna come up with a nice race tonight. Worth a look is going to be in race 10. That's Made of Magic, and my all-in best is going to be National Tier. Here's all my hopes, Anthony Hahn.
Okay, I got a scratch of one of mine too, if memory serves me correct. Yeah, Satu won. Yeah, so this one's all Chad. If this horse wins, because he had a qualifying report winner the other day, that being Volcanic. So I'm going to stick with Rosie with that one. My best bet in the 7th is going to be Daffy Hanover, and my late pick 5 single, very unoriginal, will be 2 to 5. And that is Wicked Express. Here's a look at Garnet. So Garnet's with us in regards to Volcanic. We've seen National Tier before, and we've seen Supersonic Hanover, who did score a bit of a number last time out, but will not be nearly as big of a price tonight for Gislan. Gislan's always in a good mood. If you follow him on X, which used to be Twitter, always in a good mood that guy.
Yeah, I can believe
I've
it.
never
He's
met
always
Gislan.
smiling.
Yeah, I'd like to meet Gislan. Seems like a good guy. Just a reminder that Sunday night racing continues here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. We are racing 4 nights a week now, Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. First race post time is 6:15, pregame show at 5:30. Track is still listed as fast at this point. We'll keep an eye on that. The snow is not supposed to last the entire night, and I am now being told that the judges will allow 1 second at this point.
Well,
of the
isn't
evening.
that generous of the judges?
I remember, we were just talking about cigars. I remember going as a kid to Greenwood, and Randy, you can see 2 feet in front of you with all the smoke.
Oh, I know. Not a man.
Cigarettes, pipes.
Oh, Yeah, sometimes my Aunt Eileen and her husband lived about 5 miles from our farm.
Yeah.
So sometimes we'd go to the races or whatever, and if it was just me that went to the races, Junior would be at my Aunt Eileen's, and we'd have to stop and pick them up.
Right.
And that's the first thing my Aunt Eileen would say to me when I walked in the house. Ooh, what is the smell off of you? Yeah, oh yeah, it wasn't exactly the healthiest place, but boy, it was fun.
And one last story, and we'll go to break. I remember the first time for my birthday, my parents took me to the Greenwood dining room. And the first race goes off, and they turn off the lights in the dining room. I'm like, what is this all about?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, but and you had to dress up too.
Yes. Yeah, it was the best. It was the best. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get you all set for the opener here at Woodbine Mohawk Park on a cold, windy winter night.